Oh, no, I went and saw him, I said, talked to him, I said, let's just see if it rains up. It ended up raining up the whole time.
Yeah, I thought it rained,
It
but
was
it
green, and then that wind came.
right on your
and
fence.
it came right down.
But I came to it, I was like, oh.
All the time. So, State Farm told me, you know, buy me a month.
Hey, Ron.
I don't know, that's what I was thinking.
I think she will. I think she's heard it. All right.
If he had never called me, it's just a dream, that's God, it's just involved. That's all, just put it in.
Okay. Yeah, we can knock it out.
Are you talking about the yellow like the sixth street,
I saw a whole line of them when I went uphill. That's what I saw. I was like, this thing's really standing out. I'm all
I know, it's like your friends, like.
it's up like do they pay us? Of course, I know it's not a complete Hey, John, are you up for proclamation?
I'd rather not if you don't mind. Thank you,
No, you're not. Many proclamations.
I'm not moving around too. I will. I'm not moving around too well, so I just need to.
I'm just messing.
I can get for it. I don't put it over there. Don't ask me to put it over there.
Let me tell you.
I can get Nick to do it.
Hey,
What is it for?
It's one I normally would do, but I'm still not quite yet. I think it's
I'll stick that wrong. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, you know, yeah. I don't even know what
they doing the second phase of the grant of letter of support. And the other thing they're asking us they're doing everything, everything. They want to know
hey, I still would love to use my old one.
in our area.
Well, mine you couldn't see.
Right away. And what I told them,
No,
I was trying to
Peggy
talk to Commissioner Ward that
Peggy jumped
the money that we get from stuff, but that it's over the next.
Hey, sweetheart.
Allocate the money to that. So like after they finish, like the first phase is about 15 million, the second phase is about 30 million.
There you go.
About $30 million.
Okay, well you're doing it. Wonderful. I'll tell you, it's unreal.
Knock out 220 22 businesses, put over
Ward, W-A-R-D, 15, 1562, at bellsouth.net.
Never again be on the tax base.
Well, now, you know, the thing is, person who owns the shopping center will love that.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
But, we don't.
But anyway, like I said, we'll talk about it, I he told the board, last month that he was working with negotiating.
They just show me the money, attorney.com.
It was possible. It was the
The only two manned up, stood up and did what had to be done.
Lady straight.
That's right, because y'all let cats on the board, you're got
I guess because he was so raggedy.
Judge Kavanaugh came to me and said, let's see.
But I still think it's something from you guys. And he's from the workforce. Hi, Cora. How you doing? I do. On the phone now. When Shelby's birthday? I got a son on birthday party.
Mom told me somebody she let somebody ask her to make a wrong thing.
Oh, I'm sure she was.
Somebody should have started crying.
For Bill told.
That's what Mom said.
How much we spent on it?
Right. Look, I guess they brought my meal.
Yeah.
Gwen called me, she didn't rain.
I stay down actually to about the last 2 or 3 things that I just couldn't take it. After 4 hours.
I didn't make it straight.
Really stretched out.
I'll make it for tomorrow.
How you been? Proud of Gwen and Rita last night. So the only two that had manned up and stood up was the 2 women.
When I got the email and Gwen called me first, they put it on the agenda.
They treat you well.
So I'm like,
Trying to. I'm scoutmaster now. Isn't that funny?
We're going to lose $539,000.
That's good. Yeah, we just got my Sun's Eagle project done, so he's just got to write it up. So we're moving.
All right, Charles, go sit down.
Just because he lives outside the city limits doesn't mean he can't socialize with us.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the City of Griffin Board of Commissioners for April 8th. We will have invocation by Commissioner Holberg and Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Ward.
Please stand and join me in prayer. Father, we're here today to ask for your blessings and guidance in the performance of our duties as elected officials. We pray for strength, love, knowledge, and understanding. Help us to recognize and solve the problems that are presented. Make our solutions fair and just to the best interest of everyone. Help us to overcome our shortcomings and keep us united as a team to work for the betterment of the city and its people. We pray in your name. Amen.
please face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have a amendment item.
Mr. Chairman, I move we amend the agenda by adding the following: to consider second reading of an amendment to the Unified Development Code regulation of signs by land use.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, so amended. Moving to presentations, delegations. Item number 1, recognize Kelvin Hopper, Mechanic 3, with a motor pool as the March 2014 Strongest Link Award recipient.
Good evening, Commissioners.
Good evening.
We hadn't been up here in a while. I'm glad we're up here. I'd like to introduce you to Kelvin Hopper. He's one of our mechanics, technicians, whatever politically correct term we want to use. From the old school, I call them mechanics, and that's what we are, all of us. But Kelvin has really stepped up. I'm real pleased to be able to present him because we have about 600, give or take, pieces of equipment that we keep up, and we have a real diverse fleet. We can start from automobiles up to asphalt pavers, landfill equipment, and all. So it's not just like taking it down to the local repair shop and, so they got to be pretty well versed, and we're pretty blessed. We have a good crew. We have our ups and downs, but Kelvin has really stepped up and done a great job. His title is Mechanic 3. And that's the highest level that we do have. He started out here as a tire man just a few years ago. But we have a lot of voluntary certification schools and stuff that come up from our vendors and different types of suppliers. And anytime there's one, he's the first one to jump in line. So he's got his air conditioning, he's got his 2-series brakes, he's got all of his drivability and diagnostics, all of his electronics. So Kelvin has really stepped up and done a really good job. And he's our on-call man, so if we have any problems during the night with the police car or electric department truck, if they happen to be out, or solid waste truck that's running, he's the call guy, and he gets out there and gets them done, so and gets them taken care of. He's been to the leadership development program. He's already a graduate of that. He's proven himself to be a leader. He's our go-to guy. A lot of times when Stevie, our fleet manager's out or something, then put him kind of in charge watching things. He's got his inmate certification where he can watch the inmates. So there's a lot of neat things out there. During the winter storm, he was the on-call guy chasing them all up and down the road. Even though the electric department was out doing it, he was behind them fixing the electric department stuff. So we all work together. So I'd like to, like I said, introduce Kelvin Hopper and give him this Strongest Link in the Chain Award for this year and some free food. But anyway, here you go. You can say thank you if you want.
Thank you. It's a great honor.
He's real quiet, super quiet, and that's okay. That's
Like
cool.
you used to be.
I still stutter.
Where's the chain?
Miles called me and told me that he didn't get the chain to me, but you'll get it under a promise or an IOU.
You got to wear it every day.
But he didn't get the
We ought to
chain,
make that a
so
chain link
but
plate.
it's on the way. Like, honey, I love you. The check's in the mail, and I'll be home by 5. Right? Get the picture. Welcome very much.
Good job.
Thank you.
All right, well, congratulations.
Amen.
Our second item is consider a proclamation recognizing April 2014 as Confederate History Month in the city of Griffin.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the proclamation and present it.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I second it.
Okay, I have a motion second. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, unanimous.
We have Scott Gilbert here, and I also saw Charles Winstead.
Right, we saw him last night, too.
We're calmer than that other
Good
meeting.
evening. Nice to have you with us. Yes, Scott. How are you getting?
Chaz Winstead,
How
I
you
recognize
doing,
the face there, but,
Chaz used to be my neighbor, but I managed to raise enough money and move.
actually, we took up a collection and moved him out of the neighborhood, if the truth be known.
That
Now,
sounds
come on,
more like-
be
So it's
truthful.
y'all's fault he's in the city.
Okay, let me read the proclamation. This is by the city of Griffin, of the state of Georgia, I'm sorry. Proclamation for Confederate History Month. Whereas April 2014 marks the 5th year of the sesquicentennial of the creation of the Confederate government and the start of the war between the states, Confederate Memorial Day on April 26th is a time when Georgians honor the more than 90,000 brave men and women who served in the Confederate States of America. Georgia joined the Confederacy in January 1861 when a convention ratified the Ordinance of Secession, and Georgia has long cherished her Confederate history and the great leaders who made sacrifices on her behalf. And whereas among those who served the Confederacy were many Georgians who worked tirelessly in various roles that were essential to Georgia and the Confederate war effort. One such individual who made a significant contribution to the state's history was 3rd Sergeant John A. Ingram, and whereas the Confederate States Army would find itself evenly matched against the United States Army, and with the help of General James Longstreet and his troops from Virginia would turn the tide and become a great Confederate victory. On September 19, 1863, 3rd Sergeant John A. Ingram of 2nd Company K, 1st Confederate Infantry, Georgia Volunteers, was killed in action on the first day of the Battle of Chickamauga. The name Chickamauga is Cherokee for River of Death. There were over 34,000 casualties at this historic battle. And whereas, unlike many who would die that day, far from home, Sergeant Ingram died in his own community and was buried by his friends. He holds the distinction of being the only soldier to be buried on the Chickamauga National Military Park battlefield. The Battle of Chickamauga, fought September 18 through 20, 1863, is not only the biggest battle ever fought on Georgia soil, but is the second bloodiest engagement during the war between the states. And whereas it is important that Georgia reflect upon our state's past and honor and respect the devotion of our Confederate leaders, soldiers, and citizens. Now, therefore, we, the Commissioners of the City of Griffin of the State of Georgia, do hereby proclaim April 2014 as Confederate History Month and April 8, 2014 as Confederate Memorial Day in the City of Griffin, Georgia, and encourage all citizens to observe this occasion with appropriate ceremonies. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Griffin to be affixed this 8th day of April, 2014. Signed, Ryan McLemore, Chairperson, and Kenny Smith, City Manager. There you go. Thank you very much. And
Thank you very much.
appreciate you coming down here and doing this.
Yeah.
Very nice to have you with us. You're welcome to,
Well, I'll say a few words. I tell you guys, if you didn't make it to the county commissioners meeting last night, I thought, well, dag nabbit, I should wear body armor. I felt like the shrapnel was coming in there. Poor old Dick there, he took some shots there, but he stood up there like a veteran. Hallelujah. Anyhow, I'm going to hopefully not bore you a little bit, but we're a member of the Sons of the Confederacy, which we try to uphold the tradition of the South, and we meet on the first Monday of the month at Panda Bear. We happen to meet at the Panda Bear, and we have lunch, and then we have a speaker. And so if you guys are into history, you're welcome to come out and join us and partake of a little bit of Mexican food there, or Chinese food now. Yeah. And anyhow, Vic, if I could, I'd like to, with our heritage, with our Southern heritage, I had occasion, I'm going to tell this again, bear with me, please, guys. I was down in Orlando last week to go to Sun and Fun to which is a fly-in and all this kind of stuff. When I was sitting there, and next to me on the bench was this kind of a nice looking little Chinese girl. And being a Southern gentleman, I tried to enlist her in conversation. I said, well, what part of China are you from? She said, no English. And so we sat there for about 30 more minutes, and I said, maybe while I'm here, I won't waste her time, and I could kind of teach her a little Southern. I said, okay, here we go. How about, hot dang y'all, I swear. Isn't that a good Southern saying? Hot dang y'all, I swear. So, she said, hot dang y'all. And I kept saying it over again for about 30 minutes. And finally, I thought she had it. She said, dang y'all, I swear, you're hot. All right, that's it. Scott, you want to say anything?
I wouldn't dare attempt to follow that, other than to say it's nice to be able to go to a government meeting and laugh a little bit and have a good time. But
My name is Scott Gilbert. I live in Fayette County. I'm just here to visit tonight. I appreciate your hospitality. I appreciate you doing this. I'm proud to tell you joined the Fayette County Board of Commissioners, the town of Brooks, the town of Tyrone, the city of Peachtree City, and the city of Fayetteville for doing the same thing, and we appreciate it. The last thing I'll say in closing, besides thank you, is that it's extra special important when you sign these proclamations. It was a long time ago. We all know that. But as I came into Griffin tonight, I never ceased to think about the house that stood over on College Street in Griffin, where one of my Confederate ancestors lived, and his brother was killed in the war. We have one letter. Sebring Harris, a fine young man, he was well-versed, well-written in his early 20s, and in that one letter that survived, Sebring Harris, his brother was Joseph Nelson Harris, you may know as Dr. Harris, that lived here for many years after the war. Sebring, they were my uncles, and his brother Sebring wrote a letter, and he said, I miss George's, he lived in Florida, by the way, I should tell you that. He had moved to Florida, and he said, I miss George's rocks and hills, and he said it was my intention to go to the Army and join the Spalding Grays. But he had enlisted in Florida, and he gave his life for his country as a lieutenant in the 4th Florida Regiment. So that's the kind of things that we remember and study, and I know that the Harris brothers would be very proud of the good things that go on in Griffin today. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you for coming.
What is my hair? How's it look?
No change.
All right, we'll move on to item number 3, review financials for February 2014. Marcus will address.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good
All
evening.
right. Financials, fun stuff. No jokes, just plain old dry black and white numbers. All right, first up's the cash balance report, and if you have any questions, I'll entertain those.
They were pretty boring reading, which is good.
That's a good thing.
Is the,
I saw a lot of red on the others.
you saw the Georgia Fund increased. What is the Georgia Fund? Is for,
That's our sales tax
okay, so
collections.
it's, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Can we get rid of, I'm not sure what the precedent was for having, but on the cash balance report, everything behind that first summary is just a repeat of what's on the summary.
Yeah.
Is there a way of just getting rid of all the pages for cash balance for the individual lines?
If that is the board's wish, is to have just one document to present, one page, or the 2 pages, or however many it is, 2 or 3 pages, we could definitely, well, it's 1 page, actually. If that's what you want, you'll see that, but what's lacking then is the breakdown in each account. For example, in the general fund, there are more accounts that make up that one balance. So we have the operating account, we have the zoning escrow, the Georgia Fund one there, the fire donations account, flex spending.
Land
If that's
spending.
important to you to see, then I recommend we keep this. If it's just important to see a consolidated number, then we can most certainly honor that request and condense it to 1 page. Absolutely.
Right, I'm with Ryan. I got tired of forwarding it.
I mean,
I looked at
yeah.
it, but, it was, on the tablet, it's not as impressive.
Okay, so what I'm hearing from this meeting tonight is a request to go to just to that first page. Is that correct?
That's what I'd like to do. I mean, I think outside of maybe general fund, you pretty much have a page per line on here, and it pretty much is just that. So it's about 20 pages of the same thing that's on the front page. So, and the cash balance report's not all that important to begin with. So I don't know if we want 20 such odd pages dedicated to it.
Agree.
Okay, 1
All right.
page?
Yeah, let's strip that, if y'all don't mind.
I'm in
I agree.
agreement.
Okay,
It's
1 page it is
a lot
for the next
extra.
time.
A lot of extra electrons we're killing.
Okay. Next item, what's on the list? Local option sales tax. Whoops, I just lost it.
Just lost.
I lost the lost. Excuse me 1 second. I gotta go find it. And here we go. Open sesame. All right, any questions on this document? Apparently, we are collecting our lost payments again, the SPLOST, excuse me, so that's coming in on track. No more issues for now. Any questions on lost or SPLOST?
So February was pretty much the first month we're lost, where it actually exceeded the prior February for a change.
Correct.
It's a little bit
It was
different.
really a very good one, too.
So maybe,
Income tax came in quicker this year.
well, it's sales tax, maybe though we...
Stuff. There was
Yeah,
a delay
right.
last year by,
Could use it.
by
Yeah, you're right.
a month, by.
Could be, yeah.
And the SPLOST,
Yes.
And ultimately, it looks like we're gonna be a couple 100,000 short in lost, and then more than that exceeding in the motor vehicle tax. And
Right.
have we heard anything updated on the legislation that you were talking about with the motor vehicle tax?
There is a meeting it's a webinar that's scheduled with the Carl Vinson Institute and the Georgia Government Finance Officers Association, scheduled for the 23rd, I believe, on a Wednesday, and I plan to sit through that. It's at 10 o'clock, so I'm going to have to cut out of the staff meeting. But there will be some additional information coming forward from that discussion. It'll be later in the month. So then, I guess we're moving into revenue detail. Any questions there?
On the electric department,
Yes.
commercial, industrial are no longer separated. Is there a reason why we have?
We're having technical issues with getting the rate codes and the billing, feeding the GL to line up with the Cogsdale utility billing issue. The revenue's being billed correctly, and the collections are being remitted properly.
They're just not in the right
It's
line.
the separation of the two different types of bills within the general ledger, and it's basically a feed that comes directly from the billing system. One would think it's a simple fix. It's not, because it's tied to rate codes, which is tied to history. So we have to be careful how we move some of these pieces. And we're working on it, and Mr. Bill Bosch is aware, as is customer service.
what is insurance regulatory fees?
Those are, I have to refresh my brain cells. We have the
The one that's in
financial
red.
institutions premium, and we have the insurance premium tax.
Thank you,
That's
Drew.
correct, yes. I'm sorry, had a brain stumble there.
What is,
Mr. Whalen just mentioned it's the insurance tax.
when does it come in?
You've got an insurance premium tax, but you've also got a regulatory fee that they pay in lieu of
Correct.
paying occupation tax.
So does it come in the spring? Does it come in the summer
I'll
or
have to
fall?
check on when that comes in. It's a small dollar amount when that comes in.
Right,
Uh,
it's like you've got 40,000 here. That's the
Correct.
reason I was
It's,
questioning.
But the other one is above what was budgeted, the 1 point, I'm trying to find it here, 1.2 million, or is
Yeah.
1.3?
Most of
I know
those-
we get one in December.
Most of those premiums come in October and November is when the financial institutions and the insurance premium taxes come in. They come in about the same time, and the regulatory fee, there's a month or so delay with that.
Thank
So
you.
it comes in at the end of the year.
Yeah, the insurance premiums, they've already paid 1.253 million over a budget of $1 million.
That's one of the big ones, I think, that comes in at the end of the year, December.
October, November-ish, yes.
Yeah.
And we don't have any control over that because that's based on premiums that are in force. And if it's tied to valuations as well. So if people are adjusting their insurance is based on property valuations, then they'll be adjusted accordingly.
Okay, any other questions?
I have a question, this is a little off the topic, but
Yes, sir.
last night at the county commission meeting, the presentation by their insurance agent talked about insurance costs going up 4% because of the Affordable Care Act tax. That's part of one of those hidden taxes on that. And that 4% increase in insurance premiums is a pretty significant dollar amount. Have you looked at this, what this increase could be for us for this tax or related taxes in there?
Our preliminary conversations with our insurance broker has led us to believe that we are not going to anticipate any increases this year for us, for the city of Griffin. So we're anticipating a flat premium, inclusive of the Obamacare component.
Okay, well, that's good.
Yeah,
They
we
found
had-
other ways to cut, I guess.
We did have a nominal adjustment within the dental care, the dental program, and that's going to be absorbed within the city's budget, or at least that's what the plan is at the moment. I'm
Okay.
speaking in advance of Mr. Smith because he hasn't seen the numbers yet, but
Okay.
it's nominal.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Okay, moving on to the statements by fund. Any questions there?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Nice and boring? I like boring, too. Okay. Anything else?
Anything else?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Marcy. Okay, next we'll move into citizen comments. At this time, Chairperson opens the floor to comments from the audience. Comments should relate to a specific agenda item not listed on the agenda for a public hearing or to a concern within the jurisdiction of the city. Commission meetings serve the purpose of conducting city business and are not a forum for the unlimited expression of opinion. The chairperson reserves the right to limit comments to matters germane to city business and may refer speakers to the city manager or other staff for resolution. Do I have anyone on my left who would like to speak? Sheila? Please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Sheila Matthews, and my address is 898 Jeff Davis Road in Thomaston. And technical difficulties, well, my technological ineptitude prevented me from printing this out, so I have emailed my statement to each of y'all. And it's for everyone in the community as well. It has come to my attention that the article entitled Latest Proposed New Airport Footprint includes land owned by Commissioner's relative, which was printed in the March 27th edition of the GRIP, contained a factual error. I was notified Friday, April 4th, that I had been provided with inaccurate information for that article. After speaking again with Spalding County Chief Tax Assessor Larry Lilliard, from whom I obtained the original information, I confirmed I did indeed report on 2 incorrect parcels of land. Both properties cited in that piece are owned by Alan Mobley, whose stepfather is Griffin City Commissioner and Airport Authority Chairman Dick Morrow, but they do not lie within the proposed new airport's current footprint. Mobley does own 1 parcel of land that has now been included in the list of properties within the current proposed footprint, and that was the intended subject of my article. It is parcel number 121-01008, which is 86.61 acres, and was purchased March 17, 2005 for $260,500, and its 2013 assessed value is $219,442. We strive to ensure all of our reporting is factually correct and accurate, but mistakes do occur. With that being said, we do handle situations such as this a bit differently at the GRIP. Our work is very public, and unfortunately, so are our boo-boos. So rather than burying corrections in mouse print in the hope they will not be noticed, we publish corrections on the front page. However, due to the highly politicized nature of this particular issue, I felt the only responsible action to take was to make a public correction. Please know I deeply regret any confusion that has resulted from my error. And so that y'all know, some of you have had to suffer through this statement twice now. I made this last night at the Board of Commissioners meeting also. And I went early. I was there at 5 o'clock to make sure I was the first person on that sign-up sheet so that subsequent speakers, particularly regarding the airport, would have had a chance to hear that I was correcting my error. And I just want to thank y'all. I appreciate your willingness to allow me to speak tonight.
Thank you.
I have to make a comment because so often in the press, there are mistakes made and they are buried somewhere. I have to give Sheila great credit for coming forward and correcting this error. And my stepson got some very unfavorable publicity through an error, and so she corrected that, and I think that's the classy thing to do. So. Thank you. He's an innocent bystander in all this.
All right. Thanks a lot for doing that. Do I have anyone else on my left that would like to come forward and speak to the board? Okay. Anyone on the right? All All right, hearing none, we will move into public hearings, and are we putting this second reading as public hearing, or is that just going to go into the consent agenda?
Yeah, just add it on to the regular agenda at the end, would be fine.
Okay, so we'll add them as...
Public
just-
hearing is not required.
Okay, so we're basically making item number 14 then? Okay. All right, in that case, we have no public hearing, so we'll move into the consent agenda.
Mr. Chairman, we'll take these separately because Mrs. Todd was not available at the evening meeting. So I move we approve the minutes of the workshop March 25th if no one else has any additions or corrections.
Second the motion.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving the minutes, please raise your hand. Unanimous?
And next, I move that we approve the minutes of the regular scheduled meeting of the same evening.
Second the motion.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please raise your hand. We have 5 with 1 abstention. Do that right, yeah. All right, moving on to regular agenda. Item number 5, direct MEAG Power to place 100% of the city's 2013 year-end settlement refund of $1,213,143 into the city's MEAG Competitive Trust Flexible Operating Account Short-Term Portfolio.
I move that we accept that motion.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second with a question, please.
Okay, motion and a second.
This money, has it been deposited in the current fund balances that Marcus just reported at this point?
As soon as you approve it, it'll be approved in the short term. It'll be deposited in the short term.
Okay, so the current balance does not include this 1.2?
No.
Okay, thank you very much.
Any other questions? All right, hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous. Item number 6, direct MEAG Power to deposit 100% of the city's 2013 MEAG Telecommunications year-end settlement of $5,492 into the MEAG Competitive Trust Flexible Operating Account Short-Term Portfolio.
I move we do deposit as specified.
Have a motion, to have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous. Item number 7, consider the purchase of an F-350 pickup truck with an electric dump body from Speedway Ford in the amount of $34,924.75 and declare existing unit surplus to be sold on gov deals with the Stormwater Department of Public Works and Utilities Department. Dr. Keller will address.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the F-350 at the specified bid price and that we declare the previous unit surplus and sold.
I have a motion, to have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any questions or discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous. Item number 8, adopt a resolution for FY 2014 Employment Incentive Program Application Grant in support of the construction of sewer improvements to serve an expansion of 1888 Mills, LLC, in the amount of $500,000 for Water and Wastewater Department for the Public Works and Utilities Department. Dr. Keller will address.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve this resolution. I do have a question.
Second.
Have a
Second
motion
motion.
and a second?
We've been quite successful in a string of CDBG grants for improvements. Is this going to in any way impact that, or is this totally separate, no connection?
So it's no connection at all.
So,
It's issued by DCA, but these grants are usually given in conjunction with development authorities across the state for improvements.
okay, so it won't impact on chance of getting another CDBG grant?
No, sir.
All right, that's what I need to know.
And we should give credit to the Development Authority for getting us
Right,
$5
Judd
million.
told me that's our other $500,000.
There, I told him. Got you
Yeah.
$500,000.
That's what he said.
Different project, different basin.
I understand that.
Right,
But he did say it.
So they worked well.
You know, you keep getting $500,000, pretty soon it adds up to real money, right?
Right.
Good job.
Okay. Any other questions for Dr. Keller? All right, hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous. Item number 9, adopt a resolution supporting the delaying of the Biggert Waters Flood Insurance Reform Act of 2012, supported by the National League of Cities, and urge Congress to pass the Homeowner Flood Insurance Affordability Act of 2013 Dr. Keller will address.
What this basically is trying to prolong our residents that do have flood insurance. I think that Congress didn't think through this adequately, and basically what's happened, especially people in Florida are having some challenges. It would increase their flood insurance 25% immediately as soon as, if it was to go into place. We've worked very hard to get a 25% discount to become under the flood insurance program of 25% to those people that do qualify for it. So what you're supporting along with the National League of Cities is to have this delayed so they can do further study and due diligence on some of the mistakes they've made there.
Did you have an...
I did not have a motion yet.
I move we approve.
Okay, I have a motion. Second? Okay. Motion and second. Does this homeowner flood insurance affordability act have any traction?
Hopefully not, but you know how Congress is.
Passed out of the House committee was assigned to last week, but I believe the version passed out is not real favorable, other than the owner occupants that are on.
We're hoping that it doesn't make it out of committee, but we'll see.
And if you're a second homeowner, on a second home, be correct, or if it's commercial or other property, there's no cap on how much the increase would be in the flood insurance.
Okay. All right. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous. Item number 10, consider adopting a development agreement with Grogan LLC for the Upper Shoal Creek Regional Detention Facility for the Stormwater Department of the Public Works and Utilities Department.
Mr. Chairman, for discussion, I'd like to move that we approve this. I also have a comment too after.
Right, and I'll second
We have a
that.
motion and a second.
All right, basically what we have is, we've had a fortunate opportunity in our watershed implementation plans for the NPDS permits, and I'll try not to bore you with all the acronyms, okay? But at the end of the day, there's certain activities that we're performing annually in the form of construction projects in different basins. One of the problems that came to us back in 2000, we were fortunate enough to have a $400,000 study paid for by the Corps of Engineers. We were to be awarded $5.2 million, and we would put up $1.2 million, and we would fix some of the challenges that we have in the community going from the top of East Solomon and 16 to the Country Club. As you know, we have a lot of sediment going through that corridor and floatables, and it all ends up along that segment between the University of Georgia and the Country Club. The second thing is control of the flows that are going through there. So anyways, to make a long story short, that never happened because the money got diverted. But part of the plan when we did our implementation plans and watershed assessments was started dealing with the floatables, with sediment going down that stream corridor. One of the end results is that this is one of the improvements that we're making in order to move forward to, mitigate some of the pollution that ends up at the old Rushton Mill. After a significant rain event, there's enough floatables down there to fill up basically a pickup truck to a garbage truck, depending on that. So at the end of the day, we were approached in our plan and then approached by Eddie Grogan, who owns the property, the old Mankin property, as you all recall, at the corner of 18th and Solomon Street. There'll be a 4-bay there. The dam will be constructed. Mr. Grogan has agreed because we have been looking through our stormwater plan to look at public-private partnerships with individuals. He purchased the property, and what he's willing to do is put up, because we both have a vested interest in this, is pay for 50% up to $500,000, which we've applied for, and you've agreed to send. The loan's already been sent to GFO, waiting for approval shortly. And this is an agreement that we've reached between the City of Griffin and Mr. Grogan on this particular property. So at the end of the day, over a 20-year period of time, Mr. Grogan will have a stormwater fee to pay back the city of Griffin $250,000 over that period of time. And it's the first public-private partnership of this type, probably in the state. I will be addressing EPA in August of this year on this type of venture and alternative funding and supplemental revenues to cities for stormwater management.
After the 20 years, does he continue to pay a stormwater
That's
utility?
correct.
And we would actually own this?
The
city of Griffin would actually
property will
ownership?
become that property will become the city of Griffin's.
I'd like to congratulate Dr. Keller for working through this. It's been a difficult and groundbreaking agreement with a public-private partnership, but in the long run, Mr. Grogan benefits in his property, to the citizens of Griffin, particularly this, I think Commissioner Flowers' district. This is a great win for the public here. We share the cost, both sides win, so I thank Brant for this public-private partnership, and these things aren't easy to get to, but I do think this is a great example for the rest of the state, how you can work together on this kind of a project.
And I'm excited because EPA called me to make the presentation just last week to EPA Region 4, and it will be presented in Stormwater Magazine. Of course, I'm on the editorial board if you look hard enough, okay? But so I'll get that out of the way right now, but at the end of the day,
Disclaimer.
that's what we have here.
And
In
Mr.
other words,
Grogan's
you pay
here.
to be a member?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks
No,
for
but
working
I
with the
think
city.
also, I know that in Atlanta, with the tremendous rain in the last couple of days, they had a dam to burst, and the houses were terrible. And this is one of those areas that if this had not been brought to our attention and we didn't have the facilities to be able to do this, it could have been catastrophic at some point.
All right.
When do you start building your project? September. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions, comments? All right, hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous. Which kind of ties into the next item. Consider approval of a task order form with Paragon Consulting Group for the engineering design and construction management in the amount of $149,255 for the Upper Shoal Creek Regional Detention Facility for the Stormwater Department of the Public Works and Utilities Department, and amend the budget accordingly.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve and amend the budget.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second, any questions, comments? All right, hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous. All right, item number 12, consider approval of a task order form for a copper tracer study for Potato Creek wastewater treatment plant for Paragon Consulting Group in the amount of $19,805 for the Water and Wastewater Department of the Public Works and Utilities Department.
Make a motion to approve.
A motion approved, do I have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second, any questions to Dr. Keller? All right, hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your hand.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Keller. Item number 13, consider approval on second reading of an ordinance, first read on March 11, 2011, following a public hearing, designating the medical overlay district as shown on the official zoning map and included in the Southwest Griffin Urban Redevelopment Plan pursuant to OCGA Section 36-88-1.
And the words "as an enterprise zone" were omitted from what you just read, so.
Yeah.
This is actually the second reading. An issue recently came to our attention involving the enterprise zone within the medical overlay district, and in researching this, we went back to March of 2011 when the ordinance making that designation was read. We only found the public hearing in one reading. It should have been on the following meeting, which would have been the second regular meeting in March, but the minutes are silent as to a second reading. We looked for several months after that and found no evidence that the ordinance was ever read twice. So to try to cure that problem, we wanted to go ahead and do the second reading of it tonight. And then Kenny's going to follow up with some of the other related matters, I think, with y'all at a later time.
Yeah, I remember that event, and I also remember asking several questions.
You did.
That never got answered. And I remember the event, but I no longer remember my questions, so I guess I'm okay with that.
Well, if you'd like a copy of the minutes of the March 11th meeting, we'll be glad to provide those to you.
No.
So what you're saying is there's plenty of time for comments.
I believe so.
Okay. We look at 2.5 years later, or 2 years later.
Will this affect the item that we have been trying to address?
It will.
Okay, very good.
Okay, did we get a motion for this?
I'll make
if
it
not-
if we didn't.
If not,
Okay.
I'll
I have a motion,
approve.
do I have a second?
Do we need the words enterprise zone in this?
Yes.
Okay, add those to the motion, move we approve.
Okay,
Okay.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous. Okay, item number 14, consider approval upon second reading of an amendment to the Unified Development Code of the City of Griffin, Article 12, Section 1211C, regulation of signs by land use.
I see the sign flashing at me, and I move we approve this.
Okay, we have a motion. Do I have a second? I have a motion second. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, 5. 1 against.
You changed your vote this time. Somebody.
Cora did. Okay. That wraps up the regular agenda. City Manager's report.
Just remind you about the intergovernmental dinner. I think we've contacted everybody and got RSVPs. That's April the 16th.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, that's...
I'm sorry.
Coffee and carry the big stick.
I'm sorry.
That's better.
It is muffled.
I was like
You're
touching.
muffled.
Intergovernmental dinner on the 16th of April at 6 p.m. That will be at the Senior Center. County is hosting that and is sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce. So don't forget about that. We are in the process of budget. You know, this time of year is budget time, so if I'm difficult to find or contact, it's because Marcus has me in budget meetings for the next few weeks. So staff will be tied up in budget for the next few weeks. As you know, that's a difficult time. And I'm under the assumption that Mr. Morrow's going to talk about the airport meeting last night, so I'll leave that up to him.
I guess I am.
No.
Now you are.
No.
Drew, did you have?
I'll prefer my time to Dick Hall.
Okay.
Start the end so we can leave.
Okay. Ms. Todd was there last night and witnessed this, but the county commission wanted an update on the new airport proposal, which I did at some length and considerable detail. And I was really taken back by the turn of events because the city commission, the county commission jointly met in 2008, moved to go ahead and spend money and begin the process for a new airport, which we desperately need, rather than continuing to saddle our taxpayers with the cost of operating the old one. And we voted to move ahead with location, the first phase of the funding, and then we met and agreed and moved ahead with the second phase. So to date, joint funds between the city and county on the first 2 phases, we've expended $600,000 of public money on this march forward, and we all just assumed that the county, who'd been voting in favor and moving along with this, was our partners throughout, and this rather strange turn of events, now they've changed. So we have $540,000 that is due us back from the FAA. They refund 90% of our money, so over $500,000 that we're due back as we continue through this, which we will now lose if the county doesn't continue as they voted to do and be our partner. So it's a strange turn of events, and I feel sorry for the taxpayers of Spalding County that we're not going to lift this losing airport burden off of them with the new airport. And I showed them there are 3 options at the moment. If we do nothing, let's start with the first one. If we close the airport, like some people say, just close the airport, that can be done. We owe the FAA somewhere between $20 and $25 million. We have to refund to the FAA for the money they've spent on that, which is not a really reasonable solution in my opinion. If we do number 2, which is do nothing, just continue to muddle along, with the improvements that are required by the FAA and the cost of operating the airport, to keep it open for 10 years, for the next 10 years, and do the overfly zones and move the runway, repair the runway and do all the things that this very old facility is required by the FAA, it's going to cost us both about $5 million out of our own pockets. That's not FAA money, that's money from local. So it's a cost of $10 million to do nothing and continue the present operation, and we can build an entire new, modern, up-to-date, business jet friendly airport for $6 million. So we can spend 20 to 25, we can spend 10 million, we can have an entire new facility that can be a profitable facility and accept business jets for $6 million, and it seemed like an absolute no-brainer to me that the $6 million is the cheapest and best alternative, but unfortunately 3 of the 5 at the moment feel otherwise, and they punted the ball, and I'm just sort of sitting here, why are we doing this? But
Was it a punt or was it out of bounds completely?
yeah, I think it's out of bounds completely, but
Yeah.
I'm trying to be somewhat gentle, but I just feel like we've been let down by a partner that we've marched through and spent this money with, and we've in good faith spent public money with votes, and now here we sit, and I think I'll stop there before I really say what I really think.
All right. Commissioner Holbert?
This weekend, you'll have hundreds of folks participating in stream cleanup this Saturday. There are different basins. So Dr. Keller and your crew, thank y'all for your efforts in that. And just want to wish everybody a happy Easter.
Commissioner Todd?
Yeah, can we sue the county to get back the money that they're knocking us out of, our half of the $599,000?
We'll do.
That may be under consideration.
Okay, sounds good to me. That's all I have. Very disappointed, very, very disappointed.
Okay.
And I'm like Dick, I better not say any more.
Okay.
Let it be known that the ladies voted correctly last night.
Courage. Courage.
Okay, I also want to thank Kenwin and Kenny for meeting with Norfolk Southern. I don't know if anybody noticed today, but they had a couple of trucks out there, and they were piling up the railroad ties, and they looked like they kind of cut a lot of the overgrowth on the fence away, so it looks like they're trying to make a concerted effort actually cleaning up that 155 Jackson Road entrance along the track. So I think there's actually some good progress going. I know when we met with them, they were real receptive to it. A new guy that came on board acknowledged it did not look good, and so now we're seeing some of the results of that effort. So hopefully it'll continue, and we'll get to look at some design options and go from there. But
Mr. Chairman, if you can move the railroad, you are my hero.
well, I did not move anything.
You can move the freight yard
I will
to make
say-
the neighbors happy in the neighborhood.
I will say Kenwin did a great job with his presentation. He really laid it out. It was kind of irrefutable, had pictures showing this is our issue. We just need some help. We're not asking
There
for
you
money.
go,
We
yeah.
just need some responsibility and some permission on this thing. So he did a good job with it. All right. If there's no other comments, all those...
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, got a motion to adjourn. All those... Second?
Yeah.
I assume there's a second. All those in favor? Stan?
All right. You got a phone call, is that a phone?
That would be coffee.
Oh, coffee.
I was going home to have me an asthma attack. I didn't want to have while I was...
You didn't look like you didn't want to go again.
I have the lovely pleasure of, the pollen starts to turn into bronchitis, and now I feel like asthma. If I had taken the asthma, take it. Right. The $4 increase, I didn't vote for it.
Thank you. Yeah, we're covering half of the shortfall, right? So next year is twice as much as $4.
Yeah, that's forever.
It's a perpetuity because the cost will always be less, because it's rising fuel prices.
I do too. I'm
No, sir, it actually came because of federal regulation. And it became federal, a combination of federal regulation, EPA
$1,000 refund on legal.
and long-term contracts that we have to enter into 10 to 20 years ahead.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but I didn't want to mention it if you were going
Fuel
to.
prices increase.
Yeah, a big, Attorney Crowder talking about, a big part of
My
it
concern
is,
is I did, you did a great job. Case was good and
y'all got to
Robert's
start doing
helped my
all
thoughts
this
put together
different
pretty
stuff,
good.
but we're gonna give y'all some money too. Like the whole greenhouse gas,
Coal scrubber.
Hey, Sheila.
Big part of it.
All right.
that they passed on to us.
Certainly. Cough and all.
Right, we try to absorb half of it and pass half of it on. It's the worst. It's like,
Oh, yeah.
it's the most, yeah, there's a reality. It's the most painful thing we have to do as a commission of that. I know, thanks for asking. The EPA requirements,
Now,
and, basically fuel